Europe as well are combining their efforts with Brighton and Hove. We've co-organised this together because we're beginning to realise that women are going to have a pretty bad deal after Brexit. So women's rights are human rights. We're fighting for all our rights. So it's really important that we get that message across. We've got some fantastic speakers. So I'd like to hand over to Catherine Piera, MEP for the South East.
You know, after the vote, I think we all had to sort of take a deep breath and see, why did we lose this? And I think one of the things that we've been very bad at is actually championing all the good things that come from Europe. We have reproductive rights. We have equal opportunity rights that were never there before. And women have been a huge benefit of that. And we risk all that if we leave the European Union. The Northern Ireland Agreement was driven by women fighting for peace.
We're going to have a people's vote because Theresa May doesn't want one. It is the only way that our country can reconcile, is if the country can reconcile around the way and if we leave the EU. If we do not, we are going to enter into a world that isn't just moving on into the next chapter in our country's life. We will be moving into ever-ending negotiation. Every time a new piece of regulation in Europe happens, we will have the same divisive debate here. It will empower all the wrong people.
So here in our city, last year the EU invested 17 million to support 600 farmers around Brighton. It has invested over 100 million to support research projects and 1 million to create jobs. Our city in this country still has absolutely no clarity about where any of those EU funds will come from in the future. Last year, Brighton and Hove City Council became the first English council to back a people's vote. When Green councillors brought the proposal forward, I'm glad to say it's now been joined by dozens of other councils, many of them Lib Dem as well. We can still stop Brexit, but we can't stop there. We have to fundamentally change how the European Union works, so it works for the very communities who have felt so alienated by it and for our precious environment. Thank you very much.
Hello friends, I am here as a Queen of Europe. We women voted 51% to stay in the EU in 2016. Did you know that? Brexit isn't just about Brexit. It is about destroying this nation as a nation that gives care to people and that maintains peace and where we collaborate with our neighbours. This is about our future. All of us, we need to stand together and make sure that people listen to the emotional and moral arguments and stop talking just about trade. Good luck to you all. Be strong.
When I first heard that 80% of young women aged 18 to 24 voted to remain in 2016, I was like, this is absolutely mad, because that is my demographic. I'm 24 now. So my dad is a park keeper and my mum's a gardener, and without the European Union I would have not had the opportunities that I've had in life so far. So I did go to university and I did take advantage of the Erasmus grant. I then studied in Italy for a year, which was absolutely amazing. And I just think it's so unfair that a young woman now growing up, going from her teens to her 20s, won't get the opportunities that I've had.
I am directly a child of the EU. My mum and dad are over there. My mum is Italian, my dad is English. As part of the multicultural city that is London, that I now also call my home, for me Brexit was a personal insult. It was kind of a way of a part of the population of this country turning around to me and going, you're not valid. You know, you are a child of this society that we created together, and now that's not a thing. I'm seeing young Europeans leaving the city in droves because they are afraid of a society that no longer accepts them. There are many of us that virulently want to fight Brexit, and we are here to do it. Yeah, that's it.
I suppose in some ways, following on Will's comment, I'm a child of Europe in that when I was 8, my parents decided that we were going to go and live in France. So my dad got a job in Paris, and I have 2 children who are nearly grown up. If they choose that they want to go and work in Italy or go and work in the Czech Republic, that is something that they should be able to do without any constraints at all. The 3 billion that the government are spending on preparing for Brexit, as well as according to our own Chancellor, the £80 billion extra that we're going to have to borrow by 2033, that all of that money should instead be spent on addressing the issues, the reasons why many people voted for Brexit in the first place.
There is no chance of these rich, idle, lazy politicians and any of those backing Brexit taking away, thieving from our futures. We, the people, will have the final say, and we, the people, want to stay in the EU. Thank you.